Set up door. Department of Government.
Yeah.
I was like, set up door.
Now.
That's right. Well, I wish I got in years ago.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Today's Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. It's 10 a.m. We're going to call the Work County Commissioners' regular scheduled meeting to order. Sheriff, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing we have today is a public hearing in the matter of a petition to vacate a portion of a right-of-way. I'll let Molly speak to that, but need a motion to adjourn from the regular meeting and into the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0, and we are now in public hearing. Molly.
Okay, so this is a portion of the Rabbit Run Drive, part of the new development going in there. And they did send notices. We've gotten all that back from the adjacent property owners and letters from the utilities of non-objection.
Sir?
Jim Morley Jr., project engineer. This is you've seen this project before. It's for Gateway Villas, like a sixplex type townhomes. And there was an old cul-de-sac head on a frontage road that the state had built when they upgraded Highway 66. And the county then extended Rabbit Run from that old frontage road over to the Rabbit Run subdivision. And that cul-de-sac was removed, but the right-of-way for it was never removed. And so we're seeking to vacate a portion of the right-of-way that used to have a cul-de-sac head in it and now just sits vacant. There is a utility that runs through there, and we're preserving an easement for that utility.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against the matter? Anyone? Let the record show there's no one here to speak for or against.
I have no issue with it. This is basically extra right of way that we have no use for.
A motion to leave the public hearing, go back into the regularly scheduled meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0. And that makes the next order of business action on the public hearing. Molly, anything else to add?
No.
Just need the action. So we'll entertain a motion to approve the vacation.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance 2024-19 in the vacation.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0. Thank you all. Thanks, Jim. And Molly, you are up with all area plan business.
First item is a request for the extension of surety. It's Lexington subdivision. First Federal Savings Bank by Mike Head. We're holding $7,925 in surety for streets and drainage. And they're asking for 1 year at the same amount. They've had 18 years. Their current letter expires December 3rd of 24. And the county engineer signed off on the dollar amount.
Anything to add, Bobby?
No, sir. Dollar amount sufficient.
Make a motion to approve the extension of surety.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is Oak Park subdivision. They're requesting an extension as well by Oak Park Development by Dan Buck, holding $8,680.65 in surety for street and drainage, asking for 1 year at the same amount. They've had 8 years. Their current letter expires December 10th of 24.
Bobby, what's the deal with this one?
There's just a couple of drainage items that I think needed to be addressed. And we can't improve the streets until the drainage is completed. So I think there was just some swales, some ditches, and maybe some work with the emergency overflow. Jim, if you want to speak to it.
Jim Morley Jr., project engineer. They were able to do a good chunk of the work within the last couple months. They have a challenge. There is a neighbor that has fenced all the way across the ditch, and they're having a hard time trying to figure out how do they get in that person's backyard to do some of the work that needs to be done. And so they did the vast majority of the stuff they could get to, but there's some stuff that's behind some fences that they're trying to figure out how to proceed with that.
Thank you.
Dollar amount sufficient, Bobby?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve the extension.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
We have a request to release surety. It's for Commercial Drive C23085 at 8970 High Point Drive by Meyer Food Management by Bob Goings. We're holding $12,000, $12,009.80 in escrow, guaranteeing the construction. It expires March 4th of 25.
This is the, I believe, the Culver's driveway, and it is installed, and recommend release of the surety.
Make a motion to approve the release.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
We have one request to rezone, PCR 2410, petitioner Hucat Holdings by Evan Beck, owners Delta Properties by Evan Beck. It's to rezone 10.28 acres on the south side of Rabbit Run Drive, approximately 500 feet west of Rabbit Run and Trinity Drive, being lot 7 through 17 Gateway Business Park, Section 2, from a C4 and RO to a PUD with R2B, with the use and development commitment only allowing residential PUD, which would be a planned unit development with multiple family. This was advertised in the Standard on October 3rd of 24, and the Area Plan Commission gave a unanimous favorable recommendation at their October 14th meeting.
Jim Morley Jr., project engineer. So this happens to be the same project we just did that right-of-way vacation on. And so on both sides of Rabbit Run Drive, there will be, I think on one side of the road, there are 6-plex buildings. On the other side of the road, there are 8-plex buildings, if I remember right. And they will all front a private drive, and then that private drive will connect into Rabbit Run Drive. And so it's a nice project for the area. Originally, this area was slated for light commercial, and so it's residential now, and it will butt up against residential. So we think it's a good project. Would ask for your approval.
Questions, comments?
Good use.
So this will be 2024-20.
Make a motion to approve PCR 24-10, ordinance 2024-20.
And I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. My motion carries 3-0.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Jeff.
Our last item are street construction plans for Wren Lake Number 3. Petitioner and owner is Sable Land LLC by Brad Cotier, manager. It's approximately 9.15 acres on the north side of Titzer Road, 1,200 feet west of the intersection of Titzer Road and Stevenson Station Road. Being Lot 1 in Wren Lake Subdivision, Campbell Township, they are requesting no street improvements to Titzer Road. And this was advertised in the Standard October 31st.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Scott.
Scott.
Scott Beadle with Cash Wagner and Associates. Like Molly said, this is just a replat of a single lot in Wren Lake. It will be 2 lots, both being a little over 4 acres. We will have a shared drive coming off of Titzer into the property. And then at site review, there was a request to add additional right-of-way to Titzer Road. Out front, the adjacent property to the west has a 70-foot right-of-way. This subdivision, as originally platted, was 50. So we are granting an additional 20 feet of right-of-way off of this lot. Granted, it's only 100 feet, but it centers Titzer Road in the right-of-way then.
You think?
No, I recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve the street plans.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Next order of business is the approval of minutes from our October 28th, 2024 session. We just got those this morning. Haven't had a chance to review them yet. So
Motion to table.
thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Next order of business is board appointment, which has been tabled several times.
This item has been tabled. We had requested certain items of information from these candidates to verify their qualification under the statute. Haven't received the requested information. And my understanding is there's no intent to provide it. So you can remove it from the agenda or just keep tabling it or reject it. But those candidates, but without the qualifications being met or evidence of those being met here, those are your options.
I'd say remove it until they provide the commissioners with the qualifications.
Good with that.
I'm good with that. I'll second.
I'll make that motion. So Bob seconds it.
Yeah, we have a first and a second to remove the item from the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And the next order of business is county administrator business. Dana, you want to handle that?
Thank you. First item we have is a 2-year extension for the economic development existing lease. And the only other items are the consent for the county auditor certified claims voucher for November 6, 2024, payroll voucher for November 1st, 2024, and the county treasurer's monthly report for October.
On the lease, council, you reviewed that. Everything's good there, I'm sure.
Yes.
Just a renewal, in my understanding, no increases in the lease, right?
Correct. It's just a 2-year extension.
Anyone?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And then the consent agenda, which Dana read off the items. Is anyone okay with a motion on that?
Let's make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Dana. Next order is Project Partnership has an update for us on the sheriff's office and security center.
Good afternoon. Appreciate your time today. My name is Bill Nix. I'm one of the partners in Project Partnerships. Byron Sanders is here today. He'll be speaking to the financials. So I've give a handout. I think everyone in front has one here. I just want to give you just a kind of a 10,000-foot look at where we're at right now on the project. Project's going real well. The site has 0 first aid and no recordables. Please jump in and ask any questions along the way. So foundations for the building structure is 98% complete. We've still got 2 columns to set up front at the entrance, but all the rest of the building foundations are complete now. Floor slabs are about 80% complete, and they're working on subgrades. We've got some pictures to follow up here in just a minute. The site work's around 60% complete. The fire and domestic water tie-in to the building is in and tested, so we do have water to the building now, and the tie-ins have been made. The underground mechanical piping and electrical within the building footprint are 100%. Mechanical piping and testing has been documented, and that's all in Garmong software. So that's all been taken care of as far as the sign off. Erosion control is ongoing. I know that's been kind of a hot topic for us out there because I've got some interpretations and some different things that we're looking at trying to make this all work. So, but we did get approval from the Corps today on that on the issue we've been waiting for a while. We've got a verbal agreement from them. I think the signed agreement is coming. So, finally got with Center Point. The engineering is complete on all the electrical and signed off, and the transformer related equipment is actually ordered and on the way. So that was a big milestone for us to get that out of the way. DCI utilities have been switched over to the county, and the only exception to that is the cable TV or the internet, it's supposed to be done this afternoon. And then I'll follow up with both parties and make sure that everything has been switched over. But The steel fabrication is around 90% complete. There's probably 6 truckloads on the job site right now. Steel erection just started last week. We're about 5% complete with that. We have done our due diligence with Boonville as far as the airport. We've got that, there's a 160-foot boom sticking up in the air, and it's going to be up there probably for a couple of months. But we've contacted the FAA, and we have all the necessary permits for that. So Boonville Airport's been notified. We've hired as a third party to help us with this jurisdictional thing, Meristem. I think you might have seen some stuff come through on that. And like I said, we did get the court jurisdiction letter, or should have it the next day or so. Materials received and stored. The kitchen equipment's it's in storage. It's off-site. We've received quite a few door frames. Roof and floor decking is all on site. And right now, there's no unforeseen delays on the equipment for the schedule. I went on a list of contractors on site. Eigner Construction. Eigner's doing the site work and utility work outside the building footprint. Empire Contractors has finished up the foundations. They're working on slab on grade. They will start with a masonry crew on masonry walls probably in about 2 weeks or so. We'll start seeing masonry go up following the steel. As soon as the steel gets sequenced out away from the masonry, so they're not working on top of each other. All sites on the mechanical, they've got all their underground and within the building footprint complete. Alva Electric, the same thing. They've got all their underground within the building footprint complete. Interfab is working on the steel, putting the steel up. And like I say, they're just getting started on that. And we've got Patriot on site doing all the testing for us, third-party testing, which is the owner's responsibility. I just wanted to touch on some of the things, the quality, just to give everybody comfort level that this thing is being put together right. We're doing compaction testing, and it meets or exceeds specifications. We've done an FF and an FL. And that's basically the floor flatness and levelness on the floor slabs that have been poured. They all meet or exceed specifications. They've done visual inspections on the rebar, and of course, they're following documentation stuff. And then they're monitoring the IDM site retention systems, ongoing complete weekly inspection reports and with greater than 1/2 inch rainfall. So they're there on site anytime it rains, plus they're doing a weekly inspection. Right now, the 1 month look ahead is that we're going to continue the procurement process. We're going to keep on the steel erection. We'll complete the floor slabs. We'll start the masonry wall construction. Site grading utility work will continue, and maintenance of retention system. Just some general notes. There's 150 submittals that have been approved with 9 still pending. A lot of paperwork going back and forth. I mean, it's just tremendous amount of documentation that's taking place. There are currently 131 submittals still open, and there are four open RFIs. This is something I try to throw into the RQAW and its subcontractors, along with Garmong, have done an excellent job moving the submittal process and the RFI process forward. Right now, we're just a few weeks behind schedule. We're going to accelerate the schedule, and it was budgeted to work some time with the ironworkers and the crane setting steel. So we're going to get back on schedule here probably in the next month or month and a half. And that would be what Interfam is working on. And to date, work performed meets or exceeds the plans and specifications for this project. So I just kind of document what we get behind. So, and then I've got just some pictures here of the site. And if anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask me. And then Byron's going to talk about financials in just a minute, kind of get you guys up to date on that.
So Bill, will construction take place all through the winter months?
Yes. Yeah, there's right now, unless it gets down around 10, 15 degrees in a lot of wind, the construction will keep going. The masonry activities, we're going to kind of monitor those because 35, 40 degrees is kind of the breakout point. Mm-hmm. We can use some additives and stuff, but I think it takes away from the workmanship myself and what you get at the end of the day when you start putting additives in masonry. So. And you all please come out and visit the site. We've got some PPE in the office there. Grab the PPE, and you're welcome to visit the site anytime. Check in with the office there, and they'll give you the quarter tour.
I sure appreciate what you guys have done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else at all? I'm going to turn it over to Byron then. Byron Sander.
He's leaving, it looks like.
Hi.
Okay, I'm Byron Sanders from Parvachek Partnerships, and my pleasure to be in front of you, gentlemen and ladies. Project success is about quality, cost, and schedule. And so we try to drive those elements, because you can't, if you let one of those areas slide, it affects the other area. So I've been tasked with staying on top of the costs. And what I've passed out to you on this first sheet is it's basically the overall summary of the project. The first column are the base bids, alternates accepted. That was part of the initial bidding process, and it was all part of the GMP contract that Garmong signed with the county. And that did include a supplement account, an allowance account, a GM contingency, of course, their payment and performance bonds, GL insurance, and their fee. I highlighted the supplement account and allowance account and GM contingency. These are, and I want to explain those to you. These are categories that I think, from having experience on a project, you can't naively go into a project and know that there won't be issues with schedule. You can't naively go in there and say the soil is going to be perfect. So the supplement account, which we put a budget in for $2.374 million, and we have spent $390 of that. But those are for things like cement stabilization. The cement will come in, we'll test it, and we'll have to do something to make it meet spec. The slump test might not be appropriate. That's inevitable. And so we added that. We knew before we bid the project that there was going to be some structural joists added and some more structural elements added to the project. We knew that was going to come, so we put a dollar figure in there for that, so we could get the bids out, and we've captured that. So today we've spent $390,930 on the supplement account. We track that on this sheet right here. And right now we're favorable. We have still 1.9 million uncommitted in that category. We have line items in this for schedule expediting the schedule. We have a delivery delay, whether we have to maybe pay some money to expedite schedule. The good thing about this list and these unspent funds, if we don't spend them, they come back to the county. It does not belong to the contractor, or the construction manager. The allowance account, which we budgeted approximately 1.5 million. These are items that we knew going in we were going to want to have to be able to cover. Signage. We know we need signage. We didn't have a number for that. So we plugged in an allowance account for signage, just for example, $140,000 for signage. We'll bid that, we'll work that out and get those things done. But we didn't have that information known at the time of bids. A couple of other things we do, we've added that list. We know that there was a discussion about having no climb cane screen. That's the screen that protects the upper levels and the stairways. We plugged in a number for that of $225,000. If we don't spend that, that will come back again to the county. So these are two accounts that we use from, and we've used our forecasting of what we know might be inevitable. We wouldn't want to come to you and say, oh, we needed to dig into contingency dollars because schedule issues. And you would ask us, did you know there would be schedule issues? Why are you taking out a contingency? So we have two accounts, the supplement account, and I've written a few things that we had to do, some utility logistics. There's been some things after the fact that the city engineer asked us to do, is make some changes. We have that all covered in this supplement account. And I feel very comfortable we'll underspend that allowance. The allowance account, again, we've had some soil stabilization and some commissioning things that we will have to spend money for. Again, I feel that we'll be under that amount as well. But I think the real highlight of this report is that we had a GMP contingency. This is a contingency that the construction management team put in their project number. And again, we have not touched that. Our goal is to not touch that. And as we go down that list, we have the owner soft cost items, which consist of about 40 line items, from furniture to permitting to architectural fees and so on. And we have in that on our soft cost budget, 1.4 million in contingency as well. Again, contingency is for unforeseen, we just didn't have a vision. These were things we would need or get into. We have not touched any of the owner contingency funds as well. And our goal is to not touch any of those. We hope we can get back all the contingency dollars. And I think there'll be a favorable amount of money, be able to get back to the county on the supplement account and allowance account. So this is the total update. The total project cost with soft costs and the GMP cost is right now about 54 million. Another highlight, the project was approved, I think initially estimated budget of 57 million. Bids came in favorable, so we really came in 3 million favorable to the original budget number. So that's a good report. The other thing that I'm tracking is the disbursement of funds from the bond. We have money, and I'm working with Shannon, Marshall Perry from Old National Bank, and I'm making sure that I have the initial amount that was put into the bond. We've had some money that was delegated to our county auditor and put in about 5.4 million in a money market account that will possibly be available later. There'll be interest brought from that if needed, we'll use those for payments of bills as well. But the big spend so far, the day we got the money in the bank, July the 18th, we paid out some bond issuance fees, and I've listed who those were to. We've had 3 pay applications from the contractors that we have paid for a total of about 4.6 million, which that's only about 10% of their total cost. And I look at every pay application to make sure their amount that they're billing for is commensurate with the amount of work that's been completed. We're probably 6 months into a 24-month project, so the payout is favorable to how much work we've gotten done. And I've listed there the 5.8 million that we paid out to Worth County for a money market, and then I had the incoming wire. We were deposited with 50,978,000, and then I have the balance of bond funding remaining. I'm continuing to work on this, and we're getting ready to meet as soon as this meeting is over and submit our 4th pay application and disbursement of funds request to the county. So those are the main highlights of the cost. Is there any questions? I've got more detail, more than you want. It takes me a hard time to
I've got a question,
reduce it.
if you don't mind.
Most certainly.
You've got a funds to burst from bond at
Yeah.
4.6 million approximately.
Yeah.
Does that include the nearly 800,000 that we've used for the supplement and allowances?
Yes.
So it does include that.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yep. That's and I will track that towards how much, and I've got another spreadsheet, how much we have a contract with Garmong for, how much they built towards. We've got 25% of the work done. They've built 10%. And I've got about 400,000. We hold out 10% retainage.
Right.
For the end of the project. There's things we need to reconcile. We've got money in our pockets to pay for it if the contractor has a dispute.
Byron, you guys have done a great job, as we've said. So the thing came in under estimated numbers.
Yes.
Kept the existing budget under. It's on a timeline. You've not seen too many problems. Do you anticipate anything being in the way at any point?
No, Bill and I were just talking about that. Usually at the front end of the project is when the contractors take a real deep dive look at their drawings and go, oh, these anchor bolts don't match our structural. And we're past so much of that without any major hurdles. That's why, I hate to overcommit and then underdeliver, but I feel we'll come in favorable in the supplement accounts and the allowance accounts. My goal is to, and I don't know it's your goal as well, to not use the contingency and then give money back to the county. That's all said. But I don't see any. Yeah, we've been on a lot of projects, and the front end there's a lot of surprises at times. We've
the big things that would have gotten us would have been center point on the transformers and stuff, because those are real long lead items. Air handling
Yeah.
equipment, all of the stuff that typically a couple of years ago were taking quite a bit of time now, it seemed like they're getting back on schedule. So I don't anticipate any. And once again, a lot of the long lead items are either been purchased or they're in the process of being purchased now for storage. So
Yeah, and another favorable, I'm trying to get a lot of the long lead items purchased on the soft cost. One was the furniture. This was not my budget, this was the budget Garmon put together, $700,000 for furniture. 400,000 is what our bids came in, so we're favorable in those. The things that are starting to come in, I don't have anything to sit here and say, we missed that one by 60,000.
Yep.
We haven't done that yet.
Yep.
But we'll keep you apprised as soon as anything would kind of come down the pike.
Okay.
And try to summarize it so you don't have to dig through a lot of stuff. If you don't understand something, pick the phone and say, I don't want to read all this. Tell me the bottom line.
I've done that.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great job.
thank you.
Okay, next order of business is our acquisitions administrator. Sherry.
Hi, Sherry Severs, Warwick County Acquisitions Administrator. The first thing on my agenda is surplus of election office blinds. We were able to get the blinds replaced in the election office with roller shades. They no longer make the blinds that were there. But they are original to the building. So there's a lot of windows in the building that those blinds could fit in the event somebody else's blinds break. So in light of this, I would kindly request that the commissioners consider declaring the old blinds as surplus. They do have an area over on the 4th Street Maintenance Building in some shelves that we could store those, so that if another office blinds would break, we could replace them and we wouldn't have to end up buying all new roller shades for the entire office.
Why do we need to declare them surplus to store them in
The question, Sherry, is why do we need to declare those surplus when we're going to actually store them and perhaps use them again? They're not surplus.
Well,
I mean, we're not.
We're not getting rid of them.
If we use them for something else besides the county, I think we would need to declare them surplus, but if they're using.
well, I'm going to defer to Andrew on that.
If the plan is to store and use them elsewhere within the county, then we don't need to declare them surplus yet. We would
Okay.
declare them surplus if we plan on getting rid of them because they're
Okay.
obsolete, broken,
Okay,
or whatever.
all right.
Is
Well, I
my
stand
input was
corrected.
this is not something that was probably bought with clerk budget. It was
Mhm.
bought with building money.
Right.
So they belong to the county.
Yes.
If they would have been purchased by a department, maybe transferred to a department, maybe.
Okay. So we can just store them then?
Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected. My
Yep.
apologies. We do have a table. My next item on the agenda is surplus of a table in the assessor's office. We have an 8-foot by 3-foot antique table that's in the kitchen of the assessor's office. It's entirely too big in there. We would like to get that declared surplus. I respectfully ask the commissioners to declare this table surplus and allow us to move it to 4th Street. It's an antique table that has attracted a lot of interest from several employees. And according to IC 522-22-6, we have the option to offer this item to the public for a private sale if it's estimated to be valued under $1,000. And I wanted to see if the commissioners would be agreeable once they declare it surplus to allowing us to take sealed bids on that.
So I like the one in our conference room.
Yeah, only it's a wood table.
Yep.
It's a wood top.
So it's like the other one that's in the 4th Street building.
So what do you want me to do with it? Ms.
We'd
Sherry?
like to move out of the assessor's office and put it over in the 4th Street building with the other one. But I've had several people, employees inquire if they could purchase it. So I'm asking if the commissioners want to consider putting that out for sealed bids to the employees.
I'll just say my 2 cents. Those tables, just like the one up here, the one in the 4th Street storage building, the desk on the 2nd floor and the desk in the basement are all original furniture to this building. And just for the history, I would prefer not to do that. I don't know what else to do with them, to be quite honest, but that's just another piece of history leaving the building. So that's just my 2 cents.
So once you declare it surplus, is it okay then to store it in the 4th Street building? Because we really don't have any place else unless we take it down to Brad's
There's
area.
already one of those over there.
Right, correct.
What are we gonna do with them?
I didn't say it, I don't know. I would say if we got rid of them, we would get rid of all that stuff at the same time, since it all matches, and would probably be worth more money at that point if we did surplus it.
Put them on some auction site or something. I don't know. I just, we're running out of places to store stuff.
We are.
But I don't, it's up to y'all. So I'll make the motion to declare it surplus.
Thank you.
And again, just if you aren't planning on getting rid of it, we don't need to be surplused. It just would need to be stored somewhere.
Okay, I understand. So we're gonna keep it.
I'd say put it with the other one, and we'll have the discussion later.
There you go.
Yeah, my preference is a little bit like Terry, if it could be used by somebody else in one of the buildings, to keep it around, I think that would be neat. But then if we go through all those steps, and then I have not a problem, declaring a surplus, but at a later date.
So we're reaching out to all the departments, seeing if anybody has any interest in it first before we move on surplusing it.
Well, we're not gonna surplus it right now, right?
Right.
We're gonna store it.
So-
Okey doke.
So we're just going to store that currently, not
Just like the
surplusing?
blinds.
Okay,
Put the blinds on top of the table.
okay, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Put that table on top of the table and the blinds on top of that table.
When do we get to the ceiling? We'll have.
My next item is the Linville EMS station, replacement of the exterior metal and roof. I followed IC 36-112-4.9 and IC 5-22 and the Warwick County Purchasing Ordinance 2017-30. I've reached out to the following companies to request bids: High Tech Sheet Metal, Hobgood Post Frames, and Midwest Roofing. I've received quotes from High Tech Sheet Metal and Midwest Roofing. High Tech Sheet Metal and Hobgood. I stand corrected. Tim at Midwest Roofing did not call me back. So I've listed what they have bid. And High Tech came in at $76,250, and Hobgood came in at $34,000. Additionally, Hobgood also wanted to give us a price on the overhead doors. I've only got one other bid on that, so I need to get a third bid there and to replace the overhead doors with 12 by 12 insulated with openers and windows at the top would be an additional $8,000, making his total bid if he did the overhead doors at $42,000. Today, I'm asking the commissioners to award the contract for the roof and the exterior metal replacement to initiate the transformation of the Linville EMS. Your bids are attached, and on your very last page, I'm doing
I asked Tony to come up, Sherry.
a running total of where we're at based on the bids that I have in and we're within where we need to be at $149,886. I did have to bring our contingency down from 10% to 7.2 to meet that number.
Sherry, and Tony might be able to chime in here. On the garage door openers, and I know it's just a little item, but if we go back with the traditional garage door openers, and I know we're eventually gonna look at long-term putting a gen set on that building, but in case of emergency, I think if there's a apparatus in those bays, it is difficult to pull that emergency string because that apparatus is underneath that garage door opener. And I would like us to use the sidewall mount garage door openers, because then that emergency apparatus pull string is over on the sidewall. And so I know it's just something little, but I know I've talked to we talked to the ladies up there, your employees up there, and they said they've had the fire department come over there and pull that emergency string before, so when the power's been out. So
Well, I know on the other Tony O'Neill with Warwick EMS. I know on our other EMS stations, as we've had to replace the garage door openers, we've opted to go with the wall mount on the side of the door, just so we have the capability of doing that release.
Yeah, there'll be a little more, they're a little more money, and also might have to do a little bit of electrical, because you're gonna have power over there. I would rather have an outlet there rather than run extension cord across the ceiling. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Makes sense.
So Tony, my question to you is, these bids are far apart,
Yes.
and are you okay? You have any reason to not go with a low cost bidder on any of this?
No, I know both businesses, and Hopgood is known for quality, and I'd be very comfortable with using them as well. They're quality material as well.
Thank you.
So,
That's the only question I have. I just want to make sure that you're happy with what we do out there.
yeah, no, we absolutely appreciate everything that the commissioners have agreed to do out there.
This is long overdue. This has to be done, or we're gonna be,
Gonna lose the
new
building.
commissioner's gonna be building a $2 million, $3 million building. We'll do something quickly, please.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I could add something while I'm here. I know that we've got that contingency money set back, which is a little under, $9,000 or so. If for some reason that we don't use that and we stay within budget on our other items, could we look at putting that generator in with that contingency money? Because that would still keep us in under that 150 mark. Because there's been multiple times that we lose power out there, and that we've had to call the fire department, and having that backup generator out there would make sure that we can get in and out of the buildings in a timely manner. Because if we lose power, then sometimes we lose communication as well. So
I think it's a no-brainer.
That's a good idea.
Emergency building doesn't have emergency backup
so
power.
I don't know if that's something that we could put into language as we get through this, that we can go ahead and move forward on if we stay within our means.
I'd be good with that.
Well, I think, and I don't know, Sherry, I've not looked at the numbers real close with you, but, I think we were pleasantly surprised when Hopgood coming in and their bid. So I think there's an opportunity there that it'll come in a little lower than because we threw some estimated numbers at it, and we were just kind of guessing.
Yeah.
So some we were low on, some we were high on. So anyway.
So Sherry, you just need approval on the 2 bids here for the metalwork.
Yes, for the roof and the exterior metal. And then on the garage door, I'll do new specifications, asking for that sidewall mount.
Okay.
And put that out to 3 bids, one of being Hopgood, because they asked if they could bid as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have.
No, you did mention it. You did mention it.
So we would be approving the $34,000 Hopgood bid right now, right? Okay, cool. I make a motion to approve the low bidder of Hopgood post frames for $34,000. And based on that contract being looked at by Andrew and Sherry, gone through to make sure it meets all the specifications.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
The motion carries 3-0.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners.
Thanks.
The last thing on my agenda is the Newburgh girls softball. working with Debbie Bennett Steersman with ARPA funds and Mike Joist. They're working to enhance the Warwick County softball fields on Van Road in Newburgh by renovating 14 dugouts. The plan includes replacing damaged decking and repairing rotted roofs, ensuring that each dugout is safe and functional. They're replacing the existing rotted wood sheathing with new treated wood, which will improve durability. To further enhance the structure, they will add additional supports made of treated lumber to prevent sagging in all the benches. Additionally, there will be a focus on replacing any rotted, missing, or damaged supports on the helmet shelf. This project will contribute to a better experience for players and spectators alike and reflect pride in Warwick County Parks Department property. Compliant with IC 36-112-4.9, IC 522, and with Warwick County Purchasing Ordinance 2024-04. Mr. Joist has contacted the following companies for quotes: the Cutting Edge, Davis County Metal Sales, the Barn Guys, and Call Up Construction. Below are the quotes received. The Cutting Edge came in at $23,662.21, and that was materials and labor. Davis County Metals only wanted to bid the materials at $11,875.53. Call It Construction, they bid the materials and labor, $28,000, and no reply from the Barn Guys. Gathering quotes from the contractors on this project really presented some challenges, making it difficult to do direct comparisons. Like I said, one Davis County Metal only wanted to do the material. So at the end of the day, the low bid was Cutting Edge Contractors at $23,662. And due to the fact that this project falls under IC 36-112-4.9 regarding alternative procedures, routine repair, or maintenance on existing structures, allowing the board to award the contract for public works in the manner as IC 522 is listed on the bottom of the page. Today, I'm asking the commissioners to award this contract to renovate 14 dugouts at the Warwick County softball fields on Van Road. And this is all being done with already approved ARPA funds.
And how much did we approve, Sherry?
Is it 25, Debbie? 30,000.
30,000, so this falls within that. Okay.
I help build them, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I've not seen the specs, but I guess, the specs are all there.
It's the
I'm just,
Cutting Edge has the best
yeah,
scope of work wording.
where are they out of?
They're in Chandler.
I've never heard of them.
You see a note on the bottom that says 40% up front. They know that we can't do that.
Yes, Mike had emailed me about that. I specifically told what the government guidelines are on paying. He reached out to them and they expressed they would have no interest. So that would have to be changed before signature, of course.
I mean, I'm good with it.
You good with going with the low cost bidder, Cutting Edge?
It looks like this appears to be Cutting Edge, yeah. Make a motion to approve Cutting Edge to do the work at county-owned Newburgh Girls Softball Park. Based on everything meets, if Andrew looks at the contract, if Sherry and it meets all the criteria.
No second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, commissioners.
Is that all?
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thanks, Sherry. Next order of business is our grant development director.
Good morning, Debbie Bennett Steersman, Grants Development Director. The first item on the agenda says grant proposal. It is actually a grant scope of work. At the last commissioners meeting, WTH asked the county if they wanted to move forward with a 911 grant to improve the, sorry, the accuracy of the 911 calls to 98%. But before the grant is submitted, a scope of work is required to be approved by the commissioners, and that's why I'm here today. That's the first step. In talking to Steve Leatherman with WTH, he said after the approval today, the application process can begin online. It goes on eCivis, and I told him I would help him with that, and he said they would be happy to provide the final profile application, scope of work, and budget sections of the grant application. He said this is an open round. It's open for 14 months, and there's typically 8 applications per month awarded, and it's on a first come, first served basis. So he would like to keep moving forward, and getting the proposal signed today is the first step.
Motion to approve the WTH scope of work.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries 3-0.
Okay, now we go back to our. So I'll give you your sheets if you didn't bring back. They've changed a little since the last time we added the projects. So referring to the second page, the balance now of unobligated funds is $24,613.13. The interest has gone up to $192,466.70 for a total available of $217,079.83.
So Debbie, does that include the overage, what we budgeted for this project and that we awarded? So
For the,
that-
yes,
Does that include the difference
yes,
surplus?
yes.
Okay.
For Linville Fire Station?
No, for the Newburgh girls softball.
Oh, yeah.
We-
It wasn't over.
We
We have
committed
30.
30.
We committed 30, so we got 6,300 and some odd dollars left. Is that in this, now the money we got? Did you add
That is
back in?
obligated, yes. In the obligation column, they have, because they were going to buy paint. Remember, we added money for them to buy paint and do painting as well.
Oh, okay, so that $30,000 is still obligated to?
Yes.
Okay,
So I'm only speaking of unobligated funds.
okay, I didn't know if that money went back to this column here, okay.
And remember that any money you obligate has to be either under contract or a memorandum of understanding by the end of the year in order to be spent in the next 2 years. So I've been tracking on the side, the ones that are in contract, under contract, and the ones that are complete. I know we said we weren't going to accept any more requests. This is an old request that apparently the treasurer had sent in September of 2023, wanting new cubicles, pre-owned cubicles, similar to the ones previously purchased for the auditor's office. They reached out to Sherry Sievers. She reached out to Mike Small of Corporate Design to inquire about available pre-owned cubicles. And the price at that time was $9,150. That request was sent out on consensus and was never acted upon. So I told the treasurer I would bring it back up today. Unfortunately, there aren't any pre-owned cubicles. So Sherry reached out again to Jane Small of Corporate Design, and in order to get the kind of cubicles that she wants, which is 7 L-shaped workstations, the installation and disposal of the existing cubicles, the total is $46,301.
$46 what, Deb?
$46,301. And when they did the assessor's office, it was $43,015. I think Sherry's bringing up. We can table that for now, act on it, whatever you want to do. Because we still have money that's unobligated that we haven't de-obligated yet.
Sherry? There she is. Did corporate design by chance say how often they cycle through?
No, she said she could check her resources and see if she could come up with some. She's going to have a drawing of the room and the sizes that we actually are requesting.
I appreciate the diligence that the auditor's office did when they procured their new cubicles. So I don't know, I just in some way don't think it would be fair to just wholesale buy a bunch of brand new cubicles when we had the opportunity to buy them at $9,000
Yeah.
at one point. And I know there's more to it than that, but
Yeah, it was a great savings to the county
Yep.
to go with those in the auditor's office.
what's your thoughts? I'd like to see us get this one knocked
I
out.
think we table this and see where we're at our next meeting.
So this $9,100 quote is an old one,
Yeah, it's almost over a year old.
9/14/23.
It's the one Sherry checked on that they don't have anymore.
They don't have any more. That's a shame.
That's why I said, how often they cycle those through.
We want to do is table this.
Table this till next meeting.
I make a motion to table this to our next meeting.
Second.
Yeah, here. I have a first and a second to table the request for cubicles. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, the next item is a contract from Baker Tilly for the engagement of their services to do a financial plan for the county. It's a contract, and I've sent it to Andrew, and he approved it. So I'm just asking a motion for Terry to sign. The funding's from ARPA.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, now we're back to the tabled item from the last meeting. First is deobligating the EDC rebranding of $500,000. Steve Raleigh could not be here today, but he said he still feels the same way, that he could get it done in the next 2 years if we entered into a memorandum with him to spend it. He said he has not changed his mind.
I'll chime in here. I have talked to Steve a little bit more about this, just face-to-face in depth. And admittedly, I wasn't entirely in favor of the amount of money up front, but he has showed me more and more of the plans. And I would like to leave this where it stands. Just my 2 cents.
A little more time to get his ducks in a row.
Yeah, and not deduct any of the money. We've been kind of playing with, do we need to deduct any of the money and use it for other things? I would like to leave this.
Well, he's
where it
gonna have
is.
to enter into an interlocal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And at the end of the 2 years, if it doesn't get used, it's gone.
Yeah, the treasury gets it back if he doesn't use it.
What do we want to do?
I've not known Steve to
Do
not
we
use
need-
money he's
Yeah.
been given those.
Do we need to do anything since it's already been obligated? We're not de-obligating anything?
I would just say make a motion to keep it at where it is and enter into an interdepartmental agreement between the EDC and the commissioners.
So that's really what's next is the interdepartmental agreement. That's what we need to approve.
We don't have it yet, but
I'll make-
yes,
I'll
to
make a
enter into
motion
the,
to keep the rebranding amount at 500,000 and enter into an interlocal with the redevelopment commission.
I'll second.
Is that what the redevelopment commission? Is that who it's with?
The
Or economic development? Or
Which one was requesting it?
The EDC originally.
EDC?
Mhm.
Economic development, I changed my motion to reflect economic developments that we already see.
Thank you.
I'll second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
And then the last items were tabled from the last meeting on 10/28/24. The first was the purchase, putting in dollars for the purchase of the health department building, $100,000. And then there were 3 items from the highway department. They're obviously all more than what we haven't obligated. You can just table them again if you want to the next meeting, and hopefully we'll be getting it to a point where everybody's getting done.
So what did we do with when we skipped over number 2, number 3? I don't recall tabling that. Did we table that?
You tabled a couple of pieces. You agreed to purchase several.
Okay.
We purchased several, and those were the ones we
So
didn't.
those are the ones that were tabled. Got it.
So you want to table, do we want to just table items 2 and 3?
So what does it
Yeah.
look like? So I have a question about this health department building and the $100,000. We agree to obligate it today. And then that transaction doesn't shake out for whatever reason. Does that money go back to the treasury automatically at the end of the year?
If you take it out of the interest, it will not.
Okay.
But it has to go before council.
Right.
I say we table.
The next council meeting is December.
Yeah, tomorrow's the last day to put it on the agenda.
So we would need,
December 5th is when it would be on their agenda for consideration of that building purchase and passing a resolution to move forward with that purchase.
I guess I'm just thinking, next steps. Can't ask them for an additional appropriation if we don't approve it today. But then we've got December, I guess.
We want to go ahead and ask for additional appropriation to be on the December agenda. Right? The interest stays though, right? We don't have to use it by the end of the year.
No, and one suggestion
We
that
don't
I was
have,
going to
we
make
don't have a
was
deadline for that money like we do the others.
to do an appropriation from council and ask them to put all of that money into contract. It will make it easier to award to different projects. If we do that, I don't know if they'll approve it, but it was a thought.
Okay.
I don't know if we can get there, quite honestly.
So table it. What's your thoughts?
It's a tight timeline.
It is.
Why is it a tight timeline?
So 2 council meetings left.
I understand, but this is interest money. We don't have to obligate it before the end of the year.
Right.
Oh, it is interest?
It is.
The 192,466 is interest. The amount you have left to obligate towards any ARPA projects is 24,613.13. That will have to be obligated by December 31st.
So I don't care.
Well, if there's not a timeline, then
Not on the interest.
we won't be interested.
and it will accumulate.
Right. But they don't have to do it before the end of the year.
Approve it, they don't approve it, then what do
Got interest to use.
If you said, I didn't hear what you said.
we do?
If they don't approve it, then we still have $100,000
We'll have probably
to
close to
use for
two something
something
then, yeah.
that they will approve.
That helps.
Correct.
That actually helps my thoughts. So why don't we go ahead and approve it, put it in their hands, and if they move forward, they move forward. If they kick it back, they kick it back, and we still have interest.
It just sits there and accrues interest.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. Motion to table till our next meeting.
Second.
Got a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 7-0.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, Des.
Was that for both items 2 and 3, Bob?
Yes, sir.
You want us to go ahead and do these separately real quick?
Bobby, you're
Sure.
gonna have to wait on your skid steer. bud.
Yeah, if you want to.
Really
go
cool.
ahead.
Want to hang around, make sure if this money does come up, I've got a request in.
He wants to table 3. Right.
Yeah, I want you to do a separate motion, just since that one wasn't clear for number
Motion
3.
to table highway department equipment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Bobby, you're up, sir.
Thank you. The first item I have is the bid openings for construction of a new concrete pad for a material bin wall at the District 1 Stormwater Building lot. Right now, we just have a temporary setup for our rock storage. I received 3 requests. 3 quotes. The first quote is Rivertown Construction, and this is the labor. We are going to provide the material to do the work, and the pad is roughly, just so you know, the pad itself is 199 feet by 30 feet. So it's
How thick is it,
a
Mo?
pretty large pad, 10 inches thick. So the Rivertown Construction is $58,750.
58 what, Bob?
$58,750.
Okay.
The next one I have is from Dye Brothers. $82,505. 82,505. The last one I have is from JBI. Construction. And their total is $30,590.
So it's a very large difference between them.
Bobby, who did our salt barn slab?
That was JBI, but the bids did not have the slopes called out on it at that time, if that's what you're referring to. This one has,
Did it have a belly in it?
this one has everything called out for the slope and the grades.
Yeah, as long as the specs are all there.
Bobby, for my notes, who was the second bidder?
Rivertown.
Rivertown at $58,750.
Are you confident that JBI can do this?
Yes, sir.
Dan, it's your wall. Build a wall, Dan.
This is not a wall, it's just a floor, right, Bobby?
Yes, this is just the floor.
And so
We're getting
You're
bin
doing-
blocks to set up for the actual walls.
are we putting rebar in this?
The floor was 10 inches reinforced with 2 grids,
2 foot, 2 foot on, 2 foot grid,
1 foot grid, I believe.
1 foot?
Yeah. My office designed the
You
slab.
did?
Yep.
Your office or you?
Steve.
Oh, Steve, okay. I make a
My office.
motion to go with the low bidder at JBI Construction and with the our attorney looking at the contract and making sure, Bobby and the attorney making sure it meets the criteria.
I'll second.
First and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0.
The next item I have is Peabody has finished their Somerville and German Church Hall route, and they've requested the release of their bond. They have repaved the entire roadway, and it's been inspected. And I would recommend the release of the surety based on the reconditioned road.
Who paved it? That's good.
Really?
Metzger's paved it, yeah.
Yeah.
So are you good with releasing it, and what if it settles?
Well, in this case, they just, they didn't have to reconstruct over anything.
Okay.
This was just a haul route.
Haul road only, okay.
And so they went in and did a lot of base repair during the haul.
Okay.
And now at the end of the haul, they did all the
So it
base
should be pretty
repair
good.
and then did binder and resurface.
Make a motion to release the surety for Somerville Road.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0.
That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. County Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only item I have for this evening is ordinance, which would be 2024-21. And this is an ordinance amending Chapter 150 of the Code of Ordinances, under the Building Code, adding a Chapter 150.42, which is harmful gases control methods for minimum construction standards for new construction, particularly the basements. This would be for constructing, pre-constructing certain ventilation requirements in the event that the homeowner wants to add ventilation later down the road. It would already be kind of spec'd out for that, as well as certain monitoring requirements, whether it be carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, radon, or whatever other harmful gas might be penetrating that basement. And this is a recommendation under the Indiana Fire Code, the 2020 Residential Code.
Okay.
And the building department has looked at this and approved it as well.
Thanks, Lee. We need to make sure that we get this publicized, at least to the Builders Association.
Yes.
Builders.
I can only read the first page. The rest of it's upside down.
21.
It does have some requirements for slab and crawl space as well. And here's not just basements, but
Dennis has reviewed all this.
yes.
Yes.
I'm okay, Dan. Whatever you want.
I'm good.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-21.
21.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries 3-0.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Any other business?
Have none.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Wow.